Hello and welcome to another Tuesday night Pell session. Tonight we're going to be talking about feints and fakes. Basically what we're looking at here is ways to disguise our shots so that our opponent thinks that the shot is coming in at a different location or at a different time, thereby them not being able to defend against the real shot. From the way I look at these things, there are basically three kinds of fakes. The first is the twitch fake. The twitch fake is where you don't actually throw the shot, but instead you twitch to make your opponent think you're about to throw. An example is where I might do something like this, just bringing that shoulder forward really quickly to make my opponent think that I'm powering up and about to throw, and that will cause them to start reacting to the shot that they envisage me throwing, and that gives me an opportunity to basically do something else. An example, I might twitch to throw a snap, stop it here, and then go to an offside to actually deliver the shot and thereby get the kill. The most commonly seen version of a fake is the dip fake, where someone may dip their shoulder a little bit to fake as if they're going to strike for the leg, but at the last moment they dip, strike up for the head. Very classic fake, used all the time, to good usage if you can get the person to fall for it. The second type of fake is the redirection fake. This differs from the twitch fake in that you actually throw the shot, it's just before the shot can land, you twist the shot to land somewhere else. This is basically going like a twitch fake, but you're going into the original shot a lot more. This has the advantage that should your opponent not be fooled by the first shot, you can just cancel the fake completely and just strike them where you were planning on faking to previously, but they've left open. It does also mean that you have to have practiced these kind of fakes or have a style which supports them. What I mean by this is if you have a very snap return kind of shot and you're a very straight line fighter, you will find it hard to throw on that straight line and then curve it to a completely different location. For these shots to work, and in my view to be a fake, you have to adjust where your shot is landing by a large amount. Simply throwing for the head, let's say, and then dropping it a little bit to get the shoulder or the arm, that in my view is just changing where you're looking to aim. It isn't throwing a fake. An example of something like this would be one of the offside shots that we've looked at previously, where we let the sword come right out as if we're going to throw a snap, but then we lift the elbow and curl it around to the opposite side. Likewise, you might throw a snap and then curl it into a body shot, or you can throw an offside and then drop the arm and rotate the body to throw it onto an onside. They all have to be thrown at speed to fool someone, but in all cases you can actually recover. If I'm throwing that shot and they aren't reacting, I just continue it on. I can choose at the last moment if I want to actually drive into my secondary shot. To some degree, some people don't class them as fakes, however I do, just because of the fact that I am making my opponent think I'm going to strike somewhere and then I'm rediverting it to somewhere else. The third kind of fake that comes into fighting all the time is timing fakes. This one is a bit more different than the first two, because the first one, you're just fooling your opponent thinking you're going to do something. The second one, you've done something and you've just maneuvered it to a completely different location. This third type, you do still continue your shot, you do still throw to the exact same position that you were planning to all along. You just change the timing of your shot so that your opponent either thinks it's coming in faster than it actually is, or it's coming in slower than it actually is. This sounds a little bit weird, but it is actually really key, because what most people don't know about a fight when they first start fighting is that there's a lot of timings in fights that you can think of in form of like a metronome, a beat that's just going off. And so a lot of fighters will get into the whole throw a shot, block, throw a shot, block a shot, throw a shot, block a shot. And so timing fakes work on the fact that you can throw a shot and then throw a second one on the half beat and get that second one in because your opponent has been lulled into this metronome kind of, they're going to throw at this speed and so forth. It does also work with slowing the shot down, where if my opponent is used to me throwing this shot like this and have a nice beat up, I can then throw a shot slower or just keep the shot behind my shoulder for a split second longer before hitting them. And what will tend to happen is your opponent will get used to lifting that shield to block, lifting to block, lifting to block, lifting it, not getting the block, lowering the shield to see where the shot actually has been, and then getting hit by it, which is a great shot if you can get it off. The better fighters will have better shield positions, for example, which means that they're not actually blinding themselves. What you should aim for is your block position doesn't blind you, so that if you throw the shot and you haven't actually felt the shot come in, you don't need to drop your shield, or you have a way of getting out of that position in a defensive way without exposing yourself. But that's how you counter the timing block. So what we want to look at today with those shots and what we want to practice on the Pell is how and what kind of shots can we actually throw at the Pell and redirect, change the timing of, or even just fake. Because one of the things about that twitch fake is you don't want to go too far into the fake and be locked into actually throwing the shot. So you need your twitch fakes to be sudden kind of motions, which makes people think that you're going to throw, but doesn't get this hand too far out of position to actually allow you to throw. And so what you can do there is you can just go, okay, I'm going to do snap offside, but my snap is just going to be a twitch, and then I'm going to throw that offside to get that practice in on the twitching. For the redirects, it's a bit of a case of pick a point on your opponent or on your Pell and throw as if you're going to hit it, but before you hit it, think about how you can actually hit somewhere else. We have a shot in Mordenvale that we call the newbie shot, which is a redirection shot. That newbie shot is you throw for the leg, you let your tip drop, and then you swing the sword up and around and hit them in the head. So at speed, it looks like that. What that does is your opponent thinks that you're throwing for the leg, you drop the tip, you roll that hand, step forward and flick it up to the head. It's a lovely pirouette kind of shot if you can get it. The reason we call it a newbie shot is when a brand new fighter or a fighter without much experience, they tend to follow the sword with their shield, which means they follow it down, they follow it up, and then they get hit in the head. However, you can't rely on a better fighter falling for that shot because it is quite slow and quite an obvious redirection. However, it is a really good shot to practice the fundamentals of the redirect there. Likewise, if I'm going for a snap and I want to get the offside body, I will throw to about here, then I'll roll it up and then curl it back around to get the inside body. From the front, it looks like so, to get the armpit of my opponent and hopefully get their shield out of position. Because again, most people raise their shield to there, that shot never lands and instead it rolls over to the other side. With timing shots, the way to practice them is to get a little bit into this metronome beat and be aware of the fact that you rolled into a metronome beat. Just change up the beat occasionally. But it does mean if you are changing and trying to hit on that half beat, make sure you do recover the blade far enough that you can actually deliver the second shot with enough power. If you don't recover it far enough, you won't be able to drive it back in. So even though you might get the shot in, your opponent's going to call light on it. Okay, so a bit of subtlety, a bit of fakery going on today. But hopefully it gives you some ideas on new things to practice on the Pell, new ideas to put into play, and I will see you next week. Catch you all later.